A new test is unfolding in South Lebanon. The state is now trying to implement on the ground a U.S. brokered deal. But the real question here is, will that deal and agreement really deliver what Lebanon wants? An Israeli withdrawal, the return of the displaced people, and the reconstruction of South Lebanon. Take a look.
In Lebanon, attention is now turning to what comes after months of war. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam has visited one of the southern villages battered during the fighting with Israel. Standing beside a destroyed building, Salam planted a Lebanese flag and promised to rebuild damaged homes and infrastructure. But his visit was also political. Beirut is trying to show that Lebanese state and not Hezbollah can reassert control over the south. Lebanon and Israel signed a US brokered agreement in late June. The deal calls for the Lebanese military to deploy in areas where Hezbollah had a military presence and influence. In return, Israeli forces are expected to withdraw from areas they occupy in southern Lebanon. The first test will come in the so-called pilot zones. These are a series of southern villages where the Lebanese army is expected to deploy following an Israeli withdrawal. But there are already major differences over how that will happen. Lebanon wants Israel to withdraw from significant areas as soon as possible. Beirut wants to show its people that diplomacy can return occupied territory and allow displaced families to go home. Israel, however, has signaled that it wants to maintain security zones beyond its border. That has raised questions over whether a full withdrawal will actually take place. Washington is now at the center of efforts to bridge that gap. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun met US President Donald Trump earlier this week at the White House. Trump pledged support for the Lebanese government as it seeks to extend state control across the country. He also said he would be open to direct talks with Hezbollah.
Are you still speaking with Hezbollah? You said in previous interviews that you're speaking with Hezbollah.
I would say that, but I would speak to Hezbollah, yeah. I speak to everybody. I'll speak to people that a lot of people think I shouldn't be speaking to, and things work out. I would speak to
Mr. President,
I would say this, if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, you know, he's lived with Hezbollah for a long time. And if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, I would. You know, I would.
The diplomatic push follows months of devastating war. The latest conflict erupted on March 2nd after Hezbollah fired rockets towards Israel in support of Iran. Israel responded with a large-scale air campaign and ground invasion of Lebanon. More than 4,000 people were killed and around 1.2 million were displaced. Now Beirut is betting on a different approach. The government wants the Lebanese army to move into the south. It wants Israel's forces to move out.
The Lebanese army doesn't need permission to enter a Lebanese town, but they did this formula, I don't know why. Anyway, it's very good for the Lebanese army to take over areas in the south of Lebanon because there is no alternative to the Lebanese army.
There will be an early test of whether the Lebanese state can reassert its authority and whether the US brokered deal can turn a fragile end to the fighting into a lasting arrangement on the ground.